Though it used to be a thing of science fiction, the idea of humankind's move to space seems all the more likely now. And with the state of things on Earth today, we reckon that it might come as a welcome change to some. But when push comes to shove, how do you reckon we'll live in space? And most importantly, what do you think we'll eat? Let's take a look at why this ordinary leafy green is your best bet at inhabiting and surviving space. First up, the challenges of space travel. Traversing the cosmos isn't as hunky-dory as some sci-fi films make it out to be. Videos of real-life astronauts trying to readapt themselves to life on Earth are proof enough of that. Similarly, none of it happens in the blink of an eye like we sometimes see on television. In fact, as per one estimate, a one-way trip to Mars alone takes 9 to 10 months to conclude. The point that we're driving at here is that a lot can happen in the duration of a space mission, especially to our bodies, which sometimes don't do that well on Earth either. Studies have confirmed that astronauts tend to lose 1% of their bone density each month they spend away from Earth on longer missions. That's what zero gravity does to a person. So, to put it simply, your chances of getting osteoporosis in space are higher than on Earth, and also dependent on how far you're being propelled from it. Now, even though astronauts have ways of countering this problem, that is to say, injecting themselves with a bone-stimulating parathyroid hormone and extensive workouts, those ways won't fly. See what we did there? In case of mass migration, we mean, can you imagine your grandparents doing an HIIT workout? That too on a space shuttle? Yes, we don't think so. But opposingly, they might take well to the idea of chomping down on a salad. And that, my friends, is where UC Davis and lettuce comes in. Next, lettuce to the rescue. A group of researchers at the University of California, Davis haven't only found a way to make astronauts' lives easier, but also their diets tastier. To elaborate, the menu at the International Space Station isn't exactly something to drool over. As a consequence, menu fatigue tends to set in quite quickly and makes astronauts lose about 10% of their weight within weeks of first arriving on the ISS. In view of all this, NASA has decided to give growing vegetables in space a go. Lettuce, which grows in no time, is one of the vegetables on a list which also includes, but isn't limited to, barley, radishes, and of late, chili. However, if growing vegetables on Earth is a pain in the neck, imagine how difficult gardening in space would be. Thus, to remedy microgravity killing all their plants, astronauts on board the ISS have resorted to using contraptions composed of LED lights and fans, a makeshift greenhouse, if you will. While this feat has improved the life of astronauts, it also has potential to support a space colony when and if the need arises. Nevertheless, since that is, hopefully, a few hundred years from happening, it's helped reduce the cost of sending food to the ISS, which runs up to at least $40,000 per kilogram. But remember, plants are truly a gift that keep on giving. Therefore, food isn't the only problem they might help solve in the future. Let's talk about the medicinal marvel. Although this isn't the first time that humans will be utilizing plants as medicine, it definitely is the first time that they'll be doing it via genetic modification and not extraction. And, to top it all off, fingers crossed, sending it off to space. For those of you who didn't take science seriously in school, it means that they'll be enhancing a plant's, in this case lettuce, genetic makeup to add the parathyroid hormone from before to it. Since this will involve adding a gene to the plant will then be termed genetically modified. This GM plant can then simply be chewed on to receive one's daily dose of PTH instead of injecting it in one's body. However, as easy as that seems, it has its set of problems in terms of doability. How much lettuce is too much lettuce? In spite of its impressiveness, this GM lettuce can only do so much as producing about 12 milligrams of PTH per each kilogram of fresh lettuce consumed. That means that a person will have to eat around 8 cups of it if they want to have a skeleton at the end of their space odyssey. Jenny Mortimer, a future food expert at the Weight Research Institute, has jokingly, but quite rightly, expressed that she wouldn't want to be in the proximity of somebody who's had that much lettuce. But jokes aside, this wonder plant, equal parts medicine and food, might not be on the menu for at least a few more years. Firstly, because it hasn't been tested on animals yet, and secondly, because nobody knows how it's supposed to taste and what the correct dosage is. Nonetheless, and seeing that the Earth still has a few climatic disasters to go before mass migration becomes inevitable, scientists have plenty of time to perfect their lettuce and any other wonder plants that they may have up their sleeves. Meanwhile, as some future food researchers have put it, the research on these space foods can be used to help tackle food insecurity on Earth. Now, in other related news, China's schemes of promoting space tourism. If you think a trip to Disneyland is neat, wait till you get to experience a tour of the solar system. Considering that China intends on opening its, currently under construction, Tiangong space station to tourists, that trip might just be around the corner. Reports claim that the country's Shenzhou Crew spacecraft might be utilized to go about this venture. However, since it can only accommodate 3 people at a time, China is also working on a reusable vessel for spacefaring, one that can easily carry at least 7 people. Nevertheless, the work on the space space station needs to come to a close before any of this can happen. Thus, China will be launching not 1, but 6 space missions for its completion this year. As far as the bills go, they plan on commercializing the flights, like in the case of Blue Origin, to bring costs down as much as possible. Anyhow, Yang Liwei, the first Chinese astronaut, thinks that the desire for space travel is in demand, thus we have a reason to believe that the bills might not be that big of a concern, at least with Chinese citizens. Next, NASA adds 5,000 exoplanets to its archives. In case our own solar system fails to house our explosive population somewhere in the, hopefully, far future, we could always try colonizing one of the many exoplanets out there. That is to say, as of March 21st, 2022, NASA has added another 5,000 planets to its archives of exoplanets. Simply put, there are now 5,000 more planets outside of our solar system. These planets include everything from super-Earths to hot Jupiters and mini Neptunes. And even though scientists don't know anything about them as of yet, come 2027 and 2029, they'll be able to study not just these exoplanets, but tens and thousands of them using more highly sensitive instruments, which are currently in the making. Alexander Wolshan, one of the pioneers of exoplanet research, has also expressed the hope that with the discovery of these planets, the discovery of alien life isn't that far behind either. To quote, "To my thinking, it is inevitable that we'll find some kind of life somewhere, most likely of some primitive kind. Unfortunately, we'll have to keep the planet alive if we're to make such discoveries, or, even worse, figure out ways to prevent the mysteries of space from zapping it out of existence." Which seems kinda difficult when you consider this next piece of news. Lastly, astronomer detects asteroid hours before impact. On March 28th, NASA reported that a house-sized, yes, you heard that right, asteroid is whizzing past our planet. The asteroid, which first blipped on NASA's radars on March 26th, is called 2022 FB2 and is about 49 feet across. However, it's not the only asteroid in the Earth's vicinity at the moment, because it follows closely at the heel of another asteroid called the 2022 FD1, which was detected on March 24th. While FB2 was not a cause for alarm, FD1 flew too close, 5,400 miles to be exact, to the Earth. Christian Sardiski, who discovered FD1, was also the one to discover the asteroid which hit Earth on March 11th. The said asteroid, namely 2022 EB5, was discovered only 2 hours before it burned up over the Norwegian Sea. One of the reasons why its location wasn't predicted previously is because most of the asteroids that make it into the Earth's atmosphere are quite faint, or at least that's how the experts at NASA put it after the detection of the EB5. As far as potentially hazardous asteroids go, NASA closely watches them and will be swift to announce an emergency if we were headed down the same road as the dinosaurs. However, detecting an asteroid's point of impact isn't as easy as ABC, because the telescope needs to observe the right part of the sky at just the right time for disasters to be averted. Briefly, good luck. That's a wrap for this video. What are some other vegetables you wish were available to future space colonizers? How much would you miss eating meat? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and we'll see you in the next one.